Welcome to the deep dive. Have you ever found yourself just caught up in one massive news story?
Mm-hmm.
The kind that completely swallows everything else.
Mm-hmm. Like a black hole.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A black hole for attention.
Mm-hmm.
And you're left wondering, okay, what else is actually happening? Or even what's really going on with that one big story itself?
Yeah, the signal versus the noise.
Precisely. And that feeling is exactly what we're going to unpack today. Our listeners sent over this really compelling stack of sources, mostly about the ongoing Jeffrey Epstein saga.
Right.
But they also raise some, frankly, profound questions. Like, are we focusing so much on this one thing that we're missing other huge global events happening right now?
That's a critical question.
So that's our mission today. We're going to try and go beyond the headlines, pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge from these sources, and, connect the dots. Hopefully help you feel genuinely well-informed, not just sort of overwhelmed.
Absolutely. And we'll explore the layers of the story. It's fascinating, but also deeply disturbing. We'll look at the political ripples, the actual evidence, or maybe the lack of it sometimes. And then, crucially, we need to pull back the lens, try and shed light on other really significant crises that might be unfolding kind of out of sight because of all the focus here.
Yeah, overshadowed.
Exactly. It's interesting how these things connect, or how, media attention just naturally prioritizes sometimes.
Okay, so get ready. We're going to navigate some complex stuff. We're talking Epstein's ties to power, the mysteries around his death, and then we're going to shift focus pretty significantly. We'll look at two critical concurrent crises: the absolutely dire humanitarian situation in Gaza and this dangerous heat dome sweeping across the U.S.
Both happening right now.
Right now, July 25th, 2025.
Mm.
Okay, let's dive in. So our listener had some really sharp initial thoughts about these Epstein files. They were asking things like, is this whole thing just about incriminating powerful people? Is that the main goal? Or could it be, a political ploy, specifically aimed at someone like Donald Trump? Or even, and this was interesting, could it be a false flag? A deliberate distraction from something maybe even bigger?
And those are precisely the questions echoing everywhere, aren't they? In the news, online. What's really fascinating, I think, is how the Epstein case manages to touch on all of those ideas, maybe to varying degrees, but they're all kind of in the mix. It reveals this really complex interplay between, legal issues, political strategy, and just public perception.
Definitely.
The layers here are just incredibly deep. It's ripe for speculation, but also for genuine digging.
Okay, let's zero in on Donald Trump first. He's definitely the most recent political lightning rod here. The Wall Street Journal, CNN, they've both reported his name appears multiple times in these recently unsealed files.
Right, though often with the caveat of hearsay. That's important.
True. But what makes it significant now is that sources confirm he was actually briefed about these mentions by Attorney General Pam Bondi, by his lawyer Todd Blanche, back in May 2025.
As early as May, yeah.
So this isn't just some old news resurfacing randomly. His team knew about it. They've been aware for months.
Which means they've presumably been strategizing around it. It wasn't a surprise.
Exactly. They were trying to manage it.
And reportedly, after those briefings, Trump became noticeably terse, agitated even. His reaction, according to these reports, was pretty immediate. Blame the Democrats, blame the media for weaponizing it.
Classic playbook.
Which strongly suggests he saw it as politically damaging, right? And the White House communication director pushed back hard, called some coverage out-of-context frame grabs. They reiterated the old line about Trump kicking Epstein out of his club years ago for being a creep. And at the same time, the DOJ, under Bondi, labeled a specific Wall Street Journal story a collection of falsehoods and innuendo.
A very strong denial.
Very strong. Swift, multi-pronged. It's a classic narrative control strategy. And it does make you ask, why such a forceful reaction if there's truly nothing there? Sometimes the defense itself draws more attention.
And then there's this other layer, this alleged racy letter. This is where it gets really kind of personal and weird.
Yes, the letter.
Supposedly from Trump to Epstein, signed in 2003 for Epstein's 50th birthday. Reports claim it has a crude drawing of a naked woman. Some suggestive remarks.
Highly suggested, yeah.
Trump naturally has vehemently denied it, called it fake. And he's taken the pretty extraordinary step of suing the Wall Street Journal for, was it $20 billion?
Staggering amount. $20 billion. Though legal analysts seem to think the complaint itself is pretty weak.
Right. So what does this alleged letter and this huge lawsuit, what does it all mean for his connection to Epstein? It suggests more than just a casual link, surely.
Well, it clearly signifies a past connection that is, let's say, politically sensitive, extremely sensitive, and one that Trump is obviously trying very hard to distance himself from, using significant legal force, even if the legal case itself seems shaky.
Right.
Now, he has publicly said he supports releasing credible and pertinent grand jury testimony. That sounds good, right? Pro-transparency.
Mm-hmm. But he also expresses concern about the impact on third parties.
Ah, which could mean...
Could mean a few things. Genuine concern for others caught up, or maybe a more strategic move to shield people whose exposure might be politically inconvenient for him.
I see.
And that $20 billion lawsuit, it looks less like a genuine attempt to win in court and more like, well, an aggressive PR move. A sell a PP suit maybe, trying to shut down the story.
Intimidation tactic.
Possibly. It really highlights how these past associations, even decades old, can become huge political liabilities later on. Forces people into these really reactive defensive postures.
And the Democrats have absolutely seized on this, haven't they?
Well, completely. It's become a major offensive weapon for them.
They're pushing Congress hard to compel release of more documents, pointedly accusing Trump of hypocrisy, especially given his, past calls for transparency on other investigations.
Like Hillary Clinton's emails, for example.
Exactly. And the DNC even launched this bot on X.
Yeah, I saw that. Posting daily. Daily. Has Trump released the Epstein files? No.
Yeah.
Just relentlessly hammering that point.
And then there's the House Majority PAC, a big Democratic super PAC.
What did they do?
They rolled out what they're calling a simp target list.
Well, what?
A simp target list, identifying GOP members they see as complicit with Trump on this, making them targets.
Wow. That's aggressive.
It's full-on political attack mode, using the Epstein issue for maximum political damage.
So from the Republican side, how are they reacting? Is it just frustration?
Yeah, considerable frustration. You hear strategists lamenting that this is pulling focus from what they see as Trump's recent wins, like that one big beautiful bill signed back on July 4th. Remember that?
Vaguely, yeah. Seems like a lifetime ago now.
Right, and the politics of it got so inconvenient that House Speaker Mike Johnson actually sent members home early.
For that month-long recess.
Exactly. The stated reason was basically to stop a bipartisan push that was gaining steam to release more Epstein records.
So they just wanted to shut it down.
Seems like it. They clearly saw it as a political hot potato they just didn't want to handle right then.
Which brings us back to the distraction idea. Nancy Pelosi even called it that, right? A distraction from budget issues.
She did. And look, it undeniably is serving as a massive distraction from other political business. It consumes so much media bandwidth, so much political energy.
Wait, is it a false flag? Like deliberately manufactured?
The evidence just doesn't support that interpretation. It seems much more like political opportunism, taking a genuine, high-stakes, really controversial situation and just skillfully leveraging it.
Right. To gain advantage, control the narrative, put the other side on defense.
Exactly. It's textbook political maneuvering using a real crisis.
Okay, let's widen the lens beyond Trump now. Because these documents, the ones unsealed in 2024 in recent reports, they name a truly staggering list of people.
It's quite something.
We're talking former presidents like Bill Clinton, Britain's Prince Andrew, celebrities like Kevin Spacey, David Copperfield,
billionaires like Glenn Dubin, former bank CEOs like Just Staley.
Even Bill Gates is on there. And he's publicly called his connection a huge mistake.
He has expressed regret, yeah.
It paints this picture of a vast network, doesn't it? Almost unbelievably extensive.
It does, but it's really, really crucial to be clear here. Just being named in the documents doesn't automatically mean someone was involved in Epstein's crimes.
Right. The context matters a lot.
Hugely. The connections described range wildly. You have people like Bill Clinton, who reportedly flew on Epstein's jet over a dozen times, but says it was for humanitarian work.
Okay.
Then you have direct, really damning allegations from survivors like Virginia Giuffre against figures like Prince Andrew, alleging sexual relations when she was underage.
What a huge difference.
Massive difference. And many named, like Clinton and Trump, strongly deny any wrongdoing beyond just knowing him. And the legal outcomes, they've been really mixed.
Like Prince Andrew's settling that lawsuit.
Exactly. He settled with Giuffre in 2022, paid an undisclosed sum, donated to her charity. But crucially, no criminal charges were ever filed against him.
Right.
And then you have the banks, Deutsche Bank, JP Morgan Chase. They settled with victims for hundreds of millions of dollars.
JP Morgan's was huge, right? Nearly $300 million.
$290 million in 2023, yeah. Now, those aren't admissions of criminal guilt either, but they definitely show these huge institutions wanting to avoid drawn-out legal battles and just make this go away.
Put it behind them.
Which, when you think about it, really illustrates how hard it is to get full accountability when such powerful people and institutions are involved. Money can often shape legal outcomes, unfortunately.
For years, there's been this talk, almost like a myth, about a definitive client list.
Yeah.
One single document listing everyone involved.
The Holy Grail, yeah.
Has there been any update on that? Does it actually exist?
Well, the DOJ has been really consistent on this. They've stated repeatedly, including after reviewing all the files Attorney General Bondi released in February 2025, that their exhaustive review found no single client list, like people imagine.
No master list.
No. And importantly, they also say they found no credible evidence that Epstein was systematically blackmailing his associates.
Which contradicts a lot of the speculation.
Absolutely. And predictably, this official stance just fuels more conspiracy theories about withheld information, about a cover-up.
Right, because people think they must be hiding something.
Exactly. It makes you ask, why is this idea of a client list so persistent? And what does its apparent absence mean for accountability?
It definitely complicates things if there isn't one single smoking gun list. Leaves room for doubt.
Creates a vacuum, and conspiracy theories love a vacuum.
Our listener also brought up national security concerns. The idea that maybe federal agencies are holding back info to protect powerful people, or even to prevent something catastrophic, something that would destroy institutions or public trust. Is there any truth to that? That national security is the reason for secrecy here?
Based on our review of everything available, it seems highly unlikely that national security is the primary reason for withholding information about powerful people's connections to Epstein's crimes.
Okay. So what are the likely reasons?
The more probable and legally grounded reasons usually involve protecting victim identities, which is paramount, or safeguarding ongoing investigations, maybe related aspects, ensuring due process, things like that.
Standard legal procedure stuff.
Generally, yes. While those conspiracy theories about a big national security cover-up are definitely out there, especially among folks demanding total transparency, there's just no concrete evidence backing it up.
What about Kash Patel? He's FBI director now, involved in releasing documents. Is he implicated?
There's absolutely no suggestion he's personally implicated or withholding things for national security. His role seems purely professional, procedural, overseeing the release process. The real complexity here is that balancing act, isn't it? Between the huge public interest, the legal need to protect victims and processes, and just the sheer administrative slog of declassifying and releasing sensitive stuff.
It's definitely not as simple as just release everything.
Far from it. Much more nuanced than a simple cover-up narrative suggests.
Okay, let's shift from the network to the man himself. Jeffrey Epstein's death. It's been such a lightning rod for speculation, hasn't it? Since August 2019, just nonstop theories.
Absolutely. A Rorschach test, almost.
So remind us, what is the official verdict on how he died?
The official word from the New York City Medical Examiner back in 2019 was unequivocal: suicide by hanging. And that conclusion has been consistently maintained by the DOJ, by the FBI. As recently as May 29th this year, FBI Director Kash Patel and Deputy Director Dan Bongino publicly reinforced the suicide ruling.
And they cited the jail footage.
Yes, they specifically said the jail footage showed no one entered his cell before his death, offering that as, strong support for their finding.
Okay. So, if the official story is so consistent, why is there still so much doubt? Why doesn't it go away?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It really points to a deep, persistent lack of public trust in official narratives, especially in cases this high profile and, frankly, weird.
And this is where that surveillance video comes in. The one that was supposed to dispel the doubts.
It instead became the center of the controversy.
Yeah. Reports, like that one from Wired on July 11th, indicate the raw video the FBI released was actually, likely modified.
Yeah.
What do we know about that?
Well, the forensic metadata analysis turned up some really problematic stuff. It showed the video was edited using Adobe Premiere Pro, professional software.
Not just a direct download from the camera system.
Exactly. Not a direct, untouched export. It was assembled from at least 2 different source clips.
Ah, so paste it together?
It's just a compilation, yeah. And the file was saved multiple times over about 3.5 hours during editing. So significant post-capture work was done.
And the missing time. that specific gap.
That's the really striking part. About 2 minutes and 53 seconds were just cut out. It starts precisely at 11:58 p.m. on August 9th, 2019, then jumps straight to midnight.
And the official reason for that gap.
Attorney General Pam Bondi attributed it to a routine nightly system reset.
A routine reset that just happens to occur during that critical window.
Precisely. And to top it off, they found internal comment markers in the enhanced version, like little notes.
Suggesting points of interest or editing notes.
Yeah, further confirming post-capture processing happened. It fundamentally undermines the idea that we saw raw footage.
So the official line is technical reasons, but the forensic experts are saying, no way.
Pretty much. The skepticism from independent experts is really strong. Jake Green, a forensic analyst, told The Hill he sees so many issues with it. He even suspects it might just be a screen recording of the original data, not the raw data itself. Wow.
And he specifically called Bondi's explanation for the missing minute illogical.
Why illogical?
He argued video storage systems just don't routinely shut down at the exact same minute every single night. He said it makes the whole thing stink even worse.
Strong words.
Yeah. And Hani Farid, the digital forensics expert from UC Berkeley, he echoed those concerns. He said, okay, some changes could be benign, like format conversion, but the video as presented would be totally unsuitable for court without a direct, verified export from the original system.
Because the chain of custody is broken.
Exactly. He raised huge red flags about chain of custody, pointed to aspect ratio shifts, the lack of clarity on how it was processed.
It forces you to ask, why were these modifications needed, and why no clear, convincing explanation?
Precisely. Those unanswered questions about the video are the main fuel keeping the skepticism and conspiracy theories alive.
It really does sound like, as the New York Times said, a perfect recipe for conspiracy theories, even if the official ruling remains suicide. Absolutely. When the key evidence looks compromised and the explanations feel flimsy, public perception just runs away from the official story.
Yeah, trust evaporates.
Completely. Despite the DOJ memo in July saying, again, no client list, no evidence against uncharged third parties, the video issue just overshadows those denials. It highlights that huge challenge.
Right.
How do you maintain public trust when critical evidence is presented with so many ambiguities?
It's almost impossible.
It makes the official suicide ruling a very, very difficult sell for a lot of people.
Amidst all this, the politics, the video controversy,
Yeah.
it feels crucial to pause and just remember the core of it all, the actual crimes.
Yes, absolutely essential. We cannot lose sight of the profound human cost here.
Because Epstein's operation wasn't just shady dealings, it was horrific.
Horrific. Child rape, systematic sex trafficking, exploiting girls as young as 14. And this went on for at least a decade, from the mid-90s to the mid-2000s.
And survivors like Virginia Giuffre have been incredibly brave.
Immense courage. Providing crucial testimony, accusing Epstein of directing them to have sex with powerful men, using them like pawns.
Her lawsuit against Ghislaine Maxwell was key, wasn't it?
Pivotal. It led directly to many of these documents being unsealed.
And Maxwell herself was convicted.
Convicted in 2021, sentenced to 20 years. A significant step, holding at least one key architect accountable.
But just one.
Just one major player, yes. And then you have the settlements. Prince Andrew's, J.P. Morgan's $290 million payout to victims.
Which, again, aren't admissions of guilt.
Not legally, no. But they absolutely underscore the serious impact of the crimes. And they show the massive efforts by powerful people and institutions to just avoid court, avoid more scrutiny, put it behind them.
Right.
Which leads to that lingering question. Despite the rulings, despite the settlements, will we ever see full accountability for the whole network that enabled Epstein?
Or do these financial settlements kind of allow the deeper issues to remain unaddressed?
That's the fear, isn't it? That the pursuit of real justice for all victims is still far from over.
Okay, let's pivot now and tackle our listeners' third point directly. They wondered if the Epstein case was a deliberate distraction, a false flag, hiding other battles or crises. And while we kind of concluded it's not a literal false flag, it undeniably is dominating the news cycle. No question.
Absolutely dominating.
So it brings us to that critical question. What are we missing? What's the cost when the media spotlight focuses so intentionally on one thing?
It's such a vital question about our whole information ecosystem, really.
Right.
What is the tangible cost when public attention gets so hyper-focused, even on a story as significant as Epstein's? What other critical global events just get sidelined, pushed to the margin.
Or ignored altogether.
Exactly. And as of today, July 25th, 2025, if you pull back and look, there are at least two major crises unfolding that by almost any measure, human impact, scale of suffering, potential instability are arguably as significant, or even more so, in their immediate consequences.
But they're just not getting the same level of sustained attention.
Nowhere near. The sheer volume and, let's be honest, sensational nature of the Epstein story can create this powerful filter bubble, and these other realities just fade into the background.
Okay, first of these overshadowed crises, Gaza. CNN explicitly reported, and this phrasing struck me, there's nowhere near as much attention on a humanitarian scandal of unbearable dimensions that is unfolding in Gaza.
Unbearable dimensions. That says it all, doesn't it?
It really does. So how bad is it on the ground right now? What are the dimensions that aren't breaking through?
It's catastrophic, not just dire, catastrophic. And it's escalating into what many are calling a man-made humanitarian abyss. Just today, July 25th, reports confirmed Israeli attacks killed at least 62 Palestinians across Gaza in one day.
62.
And the total death toll since October 2023, it surpassed 46,000 people.
46,000.
And the WHO, other global bodies, report over half of those killed are women and children.
It's devastating civilian impact.
Immense. And the WHO is warning urgently about mass starvation and man-made shortages. They're emphasizing this isn't a natural disaster. It's preventable, caused by human actions, by restrictions.
How bad is the starvation?
The numbers are just heartbreaking. Malnutrition-related deaths are up 54% just since April this year.
54% increase.
And even more horrifying, at least 115 Palestinians, including 83 children, have reportedly died just from starvation since October 2023.
Died from hunger itself.
Yes. Deliberate deprivation, essentially. Right. And trying to get aid. It's incredibly dangerous. Over 1,000 people have been killed since May just trying to access food distribution points.
Killed while trying to get food.
The UN even called the aid system backed by the U.S. and Israel a death trap because of the danger to civilians trying to get supplies.
My God.
And on top of all that, there are literally no fully functioning hospitals left in Gaza. None capable of providing comprehensive care.
No hospitals.
So the sick, the injured, they have nowhere to go. It forces you to ask, how can a crisis this immediate, this widespread, with such a clear, devastating human cost just fall into the background?
It's almost incomprehensible.
Speaks volumes about our collective ability or maybe inability to process multiple large-scale tragedies at once.
Given that sheer desperation, what about efforts to stop it? Are ceasefire talks happening at all? Or is it just stalled?
Unfortunately, they're currently stalled. Badly stalled.
Yeah.
Caught in this tangle of mistrust and hardline positions, the U.S. and Israel both recalled their negotiators. The U.S. said Hamas was not acting in good faith.
But Hamas said they were close.
Right before the U.S. withdrawal, Hamas claimed a breakthrough was close, which just adds this layer of tragic irony, doesn't it?
Yeah. And the political blame game continues.
Oh, absolutely. Highly charged. Former Trump envoy Steve Witkoff publicly blamed Hamas for the stall, saying their actions bring no hope for starving Palestinian children. Deeply polarized rhetoric.
Meanwhile, international pressure.
It is mounting. The UK, France, Germany jointly condemned recent Israeli threats about West Bank annexation. They're pushing hard for immediate aid access. And over 100 humanitarian organizations issued a joint call to end Israel's blockade, linking it directly to the catastrophe.
So lots of external pressure.
Huge pressure, highlighting the immense human costs of this political deadlock.
What about inside Israel? Is there internal pressure to change course? Or is it mostly unified support for the war?
No, there's actually significant and growing internal division. That Pew Research survey from early 2024 really showed it. 76% of Jewish Israelis confident in war aims, but only 38% of Arab Israelis.
Big gap.
Huge gap. And even starker, 74% of Arab Israelis felt the military response in Gaza had gone too far, compared to just 4% of Jewish Israelis.
Wow. That points to deep societal rifts.
Deep rifts, often overshadowed by the external conflict. And you're seeing more domestic dissent now, too. Tens of thousands protesting regularly in Tel Aviv, demanding an end to the war, demanding the hostages back.
So there's a growing internal call for a different approach.
Definitely. It's challenging the government's strategy, which makes you wonder, how will these internal divisions plus the external pressure ultimately shape where this conflict goes?
Yeah, the internal dynamics could be key.
Could be decisive in the long run. It's far from a monolithic situation internally.
Okay, let's shift gears completely now. From global conflict to something hitting much closer to home for many of our listeners. Extreme weather in the U.S. We keep hearing this term, heat dome. It sounds like something from sci-fi. What exactly is a heat dome?
It's a good analogy, actually, a lid on a pot. That's basically what it is. Scientifically, it's a big, persistent area of high atmospheric pressure that just sort of parks itself over a region, like an invisible cap. This high pressure forces warm air down, compresses it, makes it even hotter. And crucially, it traps that superheated air near the ground. It stops clouds forming, blocks rain.
So you just bake underneath it.
Pretty much. It leads to these prolonged, really intense heat waves. Days, sometimes weeks. And this current one, it's smothering huge parts of the U.S., especially the East, Northeast, Midwest, parts of the South. Just an oppressive blanket of heat.
So what's the scale right now? Today, July 25th. Is it just a few hotspots or is it really widespread?
Oh, it's enormous, affecting a massive number of people. As of today, 90.1 million people, that's about 27% of the contiguous U.S. population, are living in areas with dangerous heat levels.
90 million people.
Yeah. Where the heat index, what it feels like with humidity, is between 103 and a life-threatening 125 degrees Fahrenheit.
Unbelievable.
Think about major cities. D.C., Little Rock, Arkansas, they're facing a 109 heat index today.
And it's going to get worse.
Looks like it. NPR is reporting that by Monday, 245 million people will feel 90 degrees or higher. And by Tuesday, 33 million will experience 100 degrees or more heat index.
And it's early in the season too, right?
Exactly. Which is particularly concerning because bodies aren't fully acclimated yet. Increases the health risks. And it's not just a quick blast. It's expected to last several days, with very little overnight relief. Urban areas might not even drop below 80 degrees at night. No chance for the body to cool down.
That lack of overnight cooling sounds really dangerous.
It is. Which brings us to the human cost. This isn't just uncomfortable, it's deadly.
More deadly than hurricanes or floods, you said.
Unequivocally. Extreme heat is the #1 weather-related killer in the U.S. More than hurricanes, floods, tornadoes combined.
I had no idea the numbers were that stark.
They are. In 2023 alone, 2,302 heat-related deaths recorded. That was up 34% from 2022.
A 34% increase in 1 year.
Yeah. And that lack of overnight cooling is a huge factor. The body just can't recover. It rapidly increases the risk of heat illness, heat stroke, which is a medical emergency, and ultimately death.
And certain groups are more vulnerable.
Definitely. The elderly, young children, outdoor workers, people experiencing homelessness, they're all disproportionately affected, often lack access to AC, cooling centers, even just shade and water.
It really makes you wonder, given how deadly it is, why doesn't it get more consistent, urgent attention?
It's that silent killer aspect, maybe. It doesn't have the dramatic visuals of a hurricane landfall, but its cumulative impact is arguably far greater.
Is this just a really bad summer? Or is climate change definitely playing a role here?
Oh, the link to climate change is clear and demonstrable. This isn't just random bad luck. NOAA data shows U.S. summers are now, on average, 2.4 degrees Fahrenheit hotter than 50 years ago. That's a clear trend.
It's a systemic shift.
Exactly. And specific studies, like from Climate Central, looked at this heat wave. They concluded human-caused climate change made this specific event 3 times more likely to happen.
3 times more likely.
Yeah. And the scientific consensus is pretty chilling. The record heat we're seeing now, that's on track to be the new normal in just a few decades if we don't change course.
That's terrifying. Are there mitigation efforts happening?
Yes, thankfully. Cities are opening cooling stations, trying to ensure access to AC for vulnerable people. Some places, like Phoenix, are actually approving mandatory AC access rules in housing and workplaces, treating cooling as a health right.
But it's not universal. There are challenges.
Definitely not universal.
Yes.
See political pushback, too. Florida, controversially, passed a law banning cities from creating their own heat protection rules for workers.
Banning heat protection.
Yeah, affecting maybe 2 million outdoor workers in Florida, leaving them more vulnerable.
Wow.
So it really highlights this complex mix, doesn't it? You've got the clear science on climate risks, the public health needs, and then these often contentious political decisions impacting people's safety. Hashtag #outro.
So, wow. After that deep dive, where does this leave us? Where does it leave you? Trying to make sense of it all. We started by really trying to unpack the Epstein case, its layers, its complexity, those unsettling ties to powerful people, Trump, Clinton, so many others, the political games being played around it. And those really troubling questions about his death, about that modified video.
It's a story of scandal, power, conspiracy theories, all rooted in absolutely horrific crimes. Can't forget that.
Never. But then, crucially, our deep dive didn't stop there.
No, we pulled back. We surfaced these other critical, ongoing global issues that, despite their huge human impact, are just getting way less media attention right now.
The catastrophic humanitarian crisis in Gaza, the starvation, the death toll, just staggering suffering.
And the dangerous heat dome here in the U.S. Millions impacted, serious health risks, clear climate change link.
These aren't false flags. They're urgent realities happening right now.
Exactly. Unfolding even as the headlines focus elsewhere.
You know, it's so easy, isn't it, in this flood of information to get stuck in a filter bubble or just let one really sensational story like Epstein overshadow everything else, even things with profound, immediate human consequences. We saw how Epstein is both a significant issue itself and a powerful political tool, capable of just sucking up all the oxygen.
Yeah.
So it brings us back to that question for you, our listener. In this constant battle for our attention, what critical truths might we all be overlooking? Those quiet crises that just continue day after day out of the spotlight.
And maybe more importantly, what can we actually do about it? What active steps can we take to make sure we're truly informed, critically aware?
Not just passively scrolling through whatever is loudest or most convenient.
Yeah. Maybe think about the stories that don't bubble up to the top of your feed. Think about the sheer human weight of Gaza, the tangible risks of this heat dome. What stands out to you from this deep dive that you want to explore more? What steps might you take to broaden your own information landscape?
Maybe seek out different sources, drill down into these less covered but vital stories.
It's worth considering.
For the deep dive, thank you so much for joining us on this, well, essential exploration, I think. But we really hope you feel not just more informed, but maybe a little more empowered to look beyond the immediate horizon.
Yeah, to see the bigger picture.
Exactly. Thanks for listening.